I'm Christopher Lewis, a 15-year veteran of the Forex and CFD markets, and I'll be discussing in this video the idea of large round psychologically significant figures. What I mean by this is best thought of in blocks of 100. For example, 100 pips, $100, 100 cents as an A dollar, and possibly at times 50, like what is sometimes referred to as the mid-century mark. So for example, $1.50, $2.50, etc., etc. So one of the things that a lot of new traders don't pay attention to is the fact that there are areas that tend to be more likely than not interesting to traders overall. Now, there are a plethora of reasons. Part of it is simply because the people who move the markets have so much money involved. They will get calls from clients and say something to the effect of, we're looking to buy euros somewhere around 1.25 against the US dollar. Well, then they go in, and every time it gets to that area, the trader, typically a firm, may go in and buy 15 million euros, for example. It's just a number off the top of my head. And they may or they may not get the exact price they're looking for, but they're trying to get in that area. And then over time, these massive orders hopefully average somewhere around 1.25. So in this video, I'm going to show you how these big numbers really kind of come into the picture, and you'll see the reactions. So from that, you can use this for support and resistance levels, or at least areas to start looking for it. You're looking for the market to react to these areas, and then I'll show you a very clear representation of what you're looking for, or when to recognize that perhaps the level isn't going to be as important as you had hoped. So the first thing that I'll do in this video is just simply lay out a bunch of large, round, psychologically significant figures so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. You can see how it plays out, and you can see how there really is something to this, despite the fact that it sounds insanely simplistic. So this is the Australian dollar, and I'll put a line at 0.65. Let me zoom out to a higher time frame on the daily chart. You can see this is an area that we've seen both buyers and sellers at. Let's go ahead and do 0.70 and see what this creates. And you'll notice buyers and sellers time and time again. These are big 500-point spreads, but they are areas of interest. So in this case, you're looking for price action right around the 0.65 level as the market has fallen there. And that might be a sign, if we bounce enough, that the market is going to recover and perhaps try to grind back towards the 0.70 level. You want to see some type of candlestick. For example, a hammer like we had seen on the 5th of August earlier in the year, or an impulsive green candlestick, some type of reaction that tells you, hey, the buyers have stepped back in. If you get a deep close below the level, then maybe the level isn't going to hold. But it's not just 500-point increments. You could also just start laying out round figures every 100 points. And you'll notice that the 0.66 level certainly seems to influence the market as well. Let me go ahead and put the 0.67 level. And you'll see the same thing has happened. I know it seems incredibly simplistic, and as newer traders, we don't think things can be that simple, but they really can be. So 0.68 does the same thing, and then 0.69. Now, a lot of this is going to come down to the time frame that you're trading. So for example, if you're trading off the daily chart, 100 pips probably isn't enough to get you too excited. So you may spread out every 200 or 300 pips, maybe even 500 like I had shown originally. But a lot of it's going to come down to what the market tells you. Well, this tells me that the market is reacting every 100 pips, which you would expect. But it's worth noting that the last couple of years in the Australian dollar has been very range bound. So this is the type of a market that might lend itself to be traded off the hourly chart, for example, using these as a guideline. So let me go ahead and change markets. Let's go to a index. So in this case, I will choose the Nasdaq 100. And you can see 21,000 and 20,000 both seem to matter. So does 18,000. I'm going to guess that 19,000 probably does as well. And voila, there you go. Now, depending on the time frame you're talking about, let's say you're an intraday scalper or something like that, then you might do something like, if you remember, I said the mid-century marks. So you might do, in this case, 20,500. So in the Nasdaq 100 being much more volatile, you can see that the spread is more like every 1,000 points. But now I've put one at 500 points, and look what happens. Suddenly, your eyes drawn to where it had been resistance previously. Zoom down to a 1-hour chart, and it becomes much clearer. You can see 20,000 offered quite a bit of support, 21,000 above offering support, 20,500 offering a little bit of resistance. Get rid of that there. And let me go to, let's go to the FTSE 100. So this isn't quite as volatile as the Nasdaq, which I originally started out with 1,000 point jumps. But let's go ahead and zoom out to a daily chart. And let's start to build, for lack of a better term, a grid. Well, you see 8,000 seems to attract a certain amount of attention. And 8,500 might be an area of interest. You can see that was a swing high. This is another sideways market like the Australian dollar was, although it certainly is threatening major support. But over the course of the last 7 or 8 months, it's been pretty sideways. So in a situation like that, it tends to lend itself to be more short-term focused. So now that I look at it that way, you can see that the 8,100 level certainly mattered. Let's just do 8,300 there as a sign. 8,200. And then eventually 8,400. So what I've done here is I have laid out 500 points of support and resistance using 100 points apiece. And if you look, you can see how this plays out. Now I'm on the daily chart, so I can make an argument that you may want to expand it just to make your risk to reward a little bit more interesting. But if you were a 1-hour chart trader for the FTSE 100, you could have used this for the last several months to perhaps look for setups. Now, I don't necessarily suggest that just because it touched 8,200, you can be a buyer or whatever the case may be. And you know, the most recent trade would be from the 8,000 level. I mean, there are some people out there that do that, but you have to be willing to lose. because you can get shaken out. But a lot of times what you'll see, for example, you see an attempt to break above the 8,300 level in the FTSE 100, and then a massive red candlestick followed by another two very red candlesticks. So that's a sign, at least at that point, that the resistance is holding. You would target the next support level, at the very least, and then you just put your stop loss on the other side of the resistance that you sold from. And in this case, probably above the candlesticks that form that. That makes quite a bit of sense. Here's what is known as a double top at 8,400. We shot straight up, we pulled back, we shot straight up, we started to pull back. That's a sign that you're going to run into trouble. I have a video on consolidation and impulsive moves to break out of that consolidation. And that's exactly what's set up here at the 8,200 level. We had a lot of sideways action, and all of a sudden we had this massive green candlestick. A simple stop loss below this little area here, which ended up being 8,190. And then you're aiming for the 8,300 level. Granted, it took a while to get there, but you can see what I'm getting at with this. There are a lot of different ways to trade the market, but quite frankly, this is probably one of the most straightforward that I can think of. And it is one that, or it is a way that I use quite often. At least to kind of set up the market and try to figure out, hey, what do I want to do with this? So the last chart I'm looking at is the silver market. So let's go ahead and put in the obvious $30 level. Let's put in a level here, which in this case looks like it's going to be $26.50. Remember, I said these mid-century levels can be important sometimes. So where else? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at $35. Now you start to see, here's another possible mid-century mark, 32.50. Now you start to see it's not as erratic as it looks at first glance. So look at these big numbers. They tell you a lot. For example, the daily chart right now on the silver market, as I record this video, the day isn't quite over. And I'm not suggesting that this has to happen, but we are forming a hammer right above the $30 level after a pullback in a very strong uptrend. You have a lot of things lining up for you by simply waiting for this level to be tested. And that's the point in this video. Just because a candlestick occurs or a pattern occurs doesn't necessarily mean you take a trade. But if it's at a place that means a lot, and generally the double zeros or the 5-0 levels will give you a bit of a heads up, then you marry that with a candlestick pattern or some type of trading system. It just does a little more to increase the possibility of making gains in the markets.